Hello guys, you caught me in the workshop again today, and I thought today I've had so many emails sent to me recently about how do I clean my brushes when I got oil paint in and how do I store them. So I thought with this video I'll just run over what I do to maintain my brushes and keep nice and clean and tidy, and when you're not using them, what I do to keep them stored so when I take them out again they're nice and firm and everything's working fine. So with that said guys, it's Mark Terrell with Paint with Mark. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate subscribing, push the bell icon and share this video. Have a sip of cup of tea and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I do is I've got a few of these little pots, throwaway pots. These are like a pound or dollar items, these little pots. And in them I've got some odourless thinner, and I always use odourless thinner just because obviously, unless you've got the windows open, it's terrible on your system. It really is terrible. So odourless thinner. So first stage is I clean my brushes with odourless thinner, and then once they're dry by cleaning them with, which I will go over obviously, with the tissue paper, kitchen towel. And then I'll go into some baby oil, just some baby oil there, and then I'll go over that and in some paper, clean them, and then I'll go again another stage. So let's go through the process of what I do so you get an idea of what I'm doing. So the first thing I do, I'm going to get this brush here. It looks pretty clean, but I'll guarantee it won't be. So usually in the odourless thinner, in the buckets that I use, I've got a metal gauze at the bottom, and then you tap the brush in and whap it from side to side, and the actual colour, the pigment, comes through the little holes and it makes it easier to get off the bristles. A lot Bob does, he beats the devil out of it on the side of the actual frame. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to get my brush, I'm just going to dip it into the odourless thinner, and I'm just going to press this down. You can see it's getting a bit more cloudy, and I'm just going to push it up the side and give it a little tap, just to get rid of this, most of this thinner that's on there. I don't really want too much excess thinner, and push it up the side of the bucket there. Then I'm going to go into some kitchen towel, some paper toweling, and I'm just going to squeeze out, just really squeeze the bristles, and you can just see there already is some green pigment. So I'm just going to squeeze this, and I like to really scrub the bristles in this paper towel, and then I'll get another bit of paper towel, but I want to make sure it's really sort of dry. Go in here, just get rid of most of this odourless thinner. So I'll put that to the side. And then from that stage there, I go into my first pot of baby oil. So I'm going to rub this in this baby oil, just to get a nice coating in. So I've tapped it in the baby oil, I've got a nice coating on there. And then what I would do is, I've got a little bit of clear plastic or a tear off palette, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to press this down and I'm going to tap that, and hopefully you can see there the colour that is coming out. And I'm just pressing and I'm tapping lightly, then I'll turn the bristles over and I'll give it a tap, and hopefully you can see there some white coming out. I'm just sort of pressing down, bending the bristles like so. I'm going to do this a few times, give it a good tap. Then I'm going to get my kitchen paper again, I'm just going to wipe that area off, and then I'm going to tap this again, and you can still see there's some residue coming out here, some white coming out of this brush. A few more times, and I'm going to clean this again. Then at this stage I'm going to go into my second pot of baby oil. I'm just going to give this a little tap now. take that out, and then I'm going to tap this again, and you will see that as I'm doing this, we're getting less and less of the colour out. I'm just going to keep pushing this down like this, get rid of this colour. And you do this a few times on each brush. Get a tap, and then I'm going to get some tissue and wipe this again, and then give it another tap, give it a wipe, and then I'm going to get some tissue, and I'm just going to really pull this out. Now hopefully you will see, if I hold this up to the camera, you will see there, look at the green that's coming out. So it's amazing where you think that your brush is clean, it's not. And this baby oil, it really does bring it out to the surface and bring the pigment of the colour out. And I'm going to show you this again up to the camera. Now look how much I've got out of that brush. Now you would have thought it had been clean. It looked clean, but not. So I'm going to tap this down, keep tapping that down, give it another squeeze, get rid of some excess. I'm going to get another bit of tissue. Now, as I'm doing this, hopefully you can see now that there's nothing coming out now. So I'll give this a good tap, really squeeze it, the bristles. Now the bristles are really coated with the baby oil. Now I'll keep doing this until there's no pigment or colour coming out, especially if I'm not going to paint for a couple of months, something like that. It's not so bad for me, obviously, because I run classes every couple of weeks, so the brushes are used. But some people that they just sort of have a go at painting, and then they're going to leave the brushes for maybe 6 months or so, and when you come back to them, you find all your brushes are all gone hard. So now, obviously, this has got a lovely coating of baby oil, and what I tend to do, if I'm going to not paint for a while, I'll get this kitchen cling film, and then I'll put my brush, I'll lay my brush in the cling film, and I'll roll the cling film round the brush like so. Just pull a bit off, wrap it around the handle, but make sure that the bristles are laying nice and flat. So you want these bristles nice and flat like so, but it's all now covered in this cling film. Now I found that by using that and leaving that in the cling film, you could come back. I've had brushes here that have been 6 or 7 months time later, and they're still nice and soft and ready to use. And what I will say is that before you use them on your canvas, obviously you take off the cling film. Okay, I always take off the cling film, and then again I will always go back into some clean tissue, and just to make sure, really scrub it around to get rid of the excess baby oil, because if you put the excess baby oil on with your colour, or your pigment, it will make it go a lot thinner and destroy it. So I'll do another brush quickly so you can see what I've done. I'll go with that one. So we'll get one of these brushes. We've got a little round brush. So go with the perceiver again so you can see what we're doing. So a little brown brush, round brush. I'm going to go into the odourless thinner. I'm going to press this around, push it up the side of the bucket just to get the excess off of there. And I'm going to squeeze it in our paper toweling. So squeeze it in a paper towel to remove excess thinner. Then I'm going to go into my first bucket of baby oil and just really want to coat it up, and then I will push it out the side. And then I'll come down to my either tearaway palette or my little bit of Perspex, bit of glass is the same, you could do it on a bit of glass. And I'm just tapping quite hard just to move all the material in the bristles. I'm just giving it a tap all the way around, turning the brush around as I'm doing it. few times. Then I'm going to use a bit of tissue, wipe that area. I'll squeeze the brush again. You can see there, hopefully you can see, look at the colour coming out again. Greens. I'll really give it a squeeze, give it a tap down. Wipe that area. And then I'm going to go into my second pot, baby oil. Give it a little tap. Back onto the glass or your Perspex. Give that a tap down. It's really forcing this baby oil right up into the bristles and getting any of that pigment out. And then I'm back into my tissue, and you can see probably again it's green. So I'll go get another clean bit and then squeeze that in there to force this out. And again, it is amazing. The brush looked clean, but hopefully the video is picking it up. The green that's coming out, it's usually the greens and blues. Just going to wiggle this around and then go into a bit more tissue paper. Nice clean until you get no more colour coming off the bristles. There's still a little bit more there. A bit of paper. Really squeeze this down, wiggle it around, and hopefully there's nothing there. So that brush is nice and clean again, and then you would wrap cling film in there and you store it for the winter. But I'm just going to put it in my box because obviously I'm going to be using these in a couple of days' time. So I hope that clears up a few things for you guys. You know, it's important to look after your brushes, and baby oil really does remove oil paints really well. So that said, that was just a quick video for you, just to show you what I do to keep my brushes in tip-top condition. Any questions, please comment below, and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks very much.